Hey everyone, welcome back to Kevin Reviews. I just saw on Amazon streaming Holmes and Watson, 2018's Holmes and Watson. This is directed by Etan Cohen. That's Etan Cohen. He also wrote this. You might know him as the writer of King of the Hill, some of the King of the Hill episodes, Tropic Thunder, and The Bad Guys. In terms of directing, he's doesn't really have a ton that I remember, but a lot of what he directed has been with Will Ferrell or Kevin Hart. Um, this is the cast includes Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, the duo from Talladega Nights and Step Brothers, who make their return here. Also including Rebecca Hall, Kelly MacDonald, and Ralph Fiennes. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I remember seeing the trailer. I didn't really think much about it. But after it released, and this was in December, I think Christmas Day, I'm not sure. Um, this was well hated. This was one of the worst comedies that came out that year. And yeah, and I pretty much avoided it till just now. And I won't lie, it's not. It's I wish I saw something else, but got a YouTube channel, got to review even some bad movies every once in a while. But in any case, but I heard a lot of stories about, you know, not only about what went wrong in the film, but even the studios are produced, because it was releasing in December and they had like other lineups. I don't remember exactly what. If I do remember, I'll put it on the screen here. But in any case, I think even the studios try to take this out from being a theatrical release and have it just go straight to streaming because either they knew it was going to be a disaster, and even like Netflix said no, they don't want that. And this is Netflix who take on like um, the Adam Sandler films, The Ridiculous Six, for example. Um, So, they didn't have no one, it couldn't go to streaming immediately. So it went to theaters and it did pretty poorly. Um, not making much of its budget back. So what's the fault of this? Or was this just simply a bad movie that came out at the wrong time? Was it just fatigue from, from Will Ferrell and John C. Riley's, comedic duo? Who knows? But in any case, here's my review of 2018's Holmes and Watson. So Holmes and Watson, obviously Sherlock Holmes, played by Will Ferrell, and Dr. Watson, played by John C. Reilly, are going to put away Moriarty, but unfortunately has escaped, and he over time he makes a threat that he will kill the Queen. But of course, Sherlock Holmes, played by Will Ferrell, does not believe that Moriarty is the real culprit here. Um, but of course, yeah, because this is supposed to be the greatest detective of all time, and yeah, so he's trying to solve this. But yeah, let's frankly get into it. It's not a good movie. If the fact is, I can maybe see this as a good parody, but the writing does not um, does not suit itself for a parody. It's a lot of gross out humor, um, you know, sexual humor, even humor that doesn't exactly work or is just kind of in bad taste a bit. The other thing is they make they tried because they made what they did with Holmes and Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. It's like they're supposed to be geniuses basically to solve mysteries, but they the mystery they're solving is just crap. Basically, I'm just gonna say crap. Um, because they made Holmes and Watson pretty much genius, idiotic geniuses. Basically, they're not exactly that smart, or they're just completely all over the place. It's like they're trying to be. serious like Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but they're also trying to be a comedic duo with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, and it doesn't mesh. And even the world that they build, it tries to be as funny or as endearing as the two. Well, no, not endearing really. They're kind of hated characters. They even make Doctor Watson kind of an idiot a big idiot, which I don't believe that's part of his character at all. Um, uh, there's yeah, so gross out humor. There's a plot hole, a plot point, where uh, Watson wants to be like a co-detective, and that's something that's been kind of forced down for the throat. I like the idea that they. The only thing I guess I liked is that they do try to, you know, cover Sherlock Holmes's ego, a bit because he's always has to be the smart one. Which I think that's been covered even before, though. I think even in the Sherlock Holmes movie, I forget the year, but the one with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, it's not as focused on, but it still has to do with plenty with ego and whatnot. Um, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't remember exactly. But in any case, um, but yeah, I don't think it works here. Um, if was there something that was funny that I laughed at, sure, but then they they continue going with it and they kind of ruined it. A lot of the humor they build up and you see it coming a mile away. And even they explain it going into the humor. It just doesn't work. If this was a flat out parody, say it wasn't Sherlock Holmes or Watson, and that they just changed the names up a little bit, kind of made the world kind of fit the idea in which they're going with the Holmes and Watson character, then maybe it's something. And at times it does, but it still doesn't work out. And even when they do, it's gross. There's like an autopsy scene that just is is just really I don't know, it's just stupid. It's just like what the heck? What are you guys doing? It's not funny, and they even waste a lot of great talent with. Rebecca Hall. I've seen her in The Night House, and she's fantastic. Um, Hugh Laurie's even in this, and honestly, if he and like Stephen Fry, they're a great comedic duo. If they return for something like this and played as Holmes and Watson, I would have believed it. I think I would believe them more than I do Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, who are just doing British accents, and whether good or not, it's still Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. Um, I don't know. And I haven't seen Step Brothers. I've seen Talladega Nights, which is I think a good comedy. Though it's not something I watch on a daily basis. Um, but yeah, there's some of the humor where they even like tackle certain like political stuff, like even making fun of the Trump administration around 2018, which could have been funny, but frankly just falls flat on its face. They keep go Holmes keeps going on about with Rebecca Hall's character playing a doctor in the film. I forget her name, but she plays a doctor from America, and unfortunately they kept going on. Holmes just keeps going on. You're a doctor, like DOCTR. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, I get, I well, I kind of get it. I don't know. Humor is subjective, but this was just insufferable. And they even have a song number in this. And even if it was more insufferable, I was shouting no. No. Just you're not doing this. It's completely pointless and just completely wasted. I don't even know what to blame here because frankly, even maybe it's the director because he's the director, but he also wrote this and even his good stuff, even now, is, which I haven't seen, but it's supposedly supposed to be good. So I don't know where this, what happened during the production. Did they just it just didn't work, or the whole idea, or was it really just bad writing in general, or bad humor? Was it the fatigue of you know Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly? That's possible. Um, but yeah, I there's not really much to like about this film. I wouldn't recommend this. Had they done a parody, more of a parody, had they changed some of the names, kind of like similar to Spaceballs or whatever, then maybe that would have been funnier. But flat out parody, it would have been better. Have more focus on the mystery portion, because even the mystery, I will say this, it did at least have a good kind of twist, but it didn't. Even then, I kind of saw it coming, and it didn't even feel warranted or felt it earned it overall, because a lot of the times when they tries to do the mystery, it just it gets pushed aside for more dark, for more humor, bad humor. And that's, I like when comedies try to balance things out. I mean, even by myself, I would like, especially by myself, even with an audience, I would like to see humor, drama, mystery, whatever, your comedy and whatever, balanced out where you can still take it seriously. Um, but this one doesn't really take it seriously. It doesn't take the mystery seriously. It's just wasted on a bunch of jokes. So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this. I would give Holmes and Watson a half star. Would I say it's bad and say War of the Worlds, the other film I gave a half star to, or I Always Know What You Did Last Summer? No, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it is at least nice looking. I mean, production wise, the environment, but everything else with the characters and just the writing is not very good. I would not recommend this unless you're really curious, which I would say don't ever see this movie. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on Holmes and Watson, 2018's Holmes and Watson? Leave in the comments below. Leave a like or dislike on the review if you wish. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you can be updated on any more future videos. And I will see you guys in the next review.